Hello and welcome to Qwoff TV live from the Landmark Australia tutorial with Mr. Michael Smith, who we are very familiar with.
Thank you, mate.
How you going?
Good, good.
Excellent to see you've made the trip over.
Oh, well, we're feeling like we've really moved up in the wine circles.
Absolute pleasure. Now, you just took 14 participants through 2-3 hours of information. Fantastic. If you had to wrap it up in a minute.
Because I've got an 8-page blog waiting to go out this afternoon.
Look, what we were trying to do, and in a way it was the kick-off, so what I was trying to do is to show everyone that there is this huge diversity of style throughout Australia, that there are a number of combinations of site, climate and grape variety, and when you put it together you produce something that's really special. And you know, particularly for a lot of the overseas, I think the fact is they are very familiar with Australian wine, but I think when you actually see that and you realise that if you plant the same grape variety in different regions, you get very different stylistic outcomes. So, and it was also a good opportunity to open some good bottles, of course.
Well, this is it, isn't it? I mean, that was quite an array. We were sneaking tastings behind the bar there, but it was quite an impressive bunch of wines.
Yeah, no, they were good. They were good, and I really think they showed they made the point very well. And the fact is, they weren't. I mean, they were special wines, but they weren't wines that you could not find. And I think that's the point: is that you can, let's say, something like the Pewsey Vale Contours Riesling, the O2. You know, these are wines that you can get. And if you can't get the O2, you can get the O3 or the O4. But you actually can physically go and buy, as a consumer, aged Eden Valley Riesling.
Well, I can physically go and get it too, because we have
something we prepared earlier. That's right. How lucky are we?
But it was really popular because it was my favourite white, I've got to say, and it was popular because I'm really down to the dregs. Michael,
Andre had about 5 samples.
Thank you.
I reckon I'm going to miss out.
Well, I'm sure you guys are.
Crap!
Cheers. I'll swing past.
Now, hang on, I think we've been brought another dreg. Which is a good sign, you know, at a party, isn't it? Or a gathering of esteemed delegates. So listen, what the people gathered here, and why were they chosen, and what are they here for, really?
Well, you know, I think that we've come a long way in Australia with a relatively simple message, which is that the wines are well made, they've got, you know, lovely ripeness, they're great value, go and drink them. But the bottom line is, as we know, is that it is a far more complicated industry. And
fascinating.
You know, we're trying to get these, if you like, these gatekeepers, these people who are making the decisions. You know, major wine writers, major educationalists,
people influencing overseas international consumers.
Absolutely, and you've got people from you know, from America, and we've got people from the UK, we've got Europeans, we've got Asian, you know, people from Asia, and all of them are in a position to influence people. So it's really important that they understand what we're doing. Now, one of the challenges, of course, is that in a way, this whole week is the ultimate spin. And the reason why it's the ultimate spin is that there's no spin. The fact is that you just simply give someone a glass like this O2 Pewsey Vale. Look, you know, fabulous colour for a wine of that age. You know, lovely greens. You smell it. Got that gorgeous, slightly toasty, you know, just fantastic. Lean on the palate, long. You know, the fact is, you don't need to spin it because you just simply show someone a wine like that and they taste it and they say, "Isn't this fantastic?"
And what's your what feeling do you get about their current level of understanding of Australian wine? Because there's some lively debate there.
Oh, look,
fired up.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, these are not novices. You know, these people who have been exposed to Australia, you know, for quite a while. But I think that it gives them during the week, you know, for each of these wines, there is a whole 2-hour tasting on that specific variety.
We're going to be there. So are you.
And, you know, so they're going to plumb down in a way and drill down. So I think just to be able to show anyone a wine like that, it's just delicious.
Absolutely. It's so bright. Just to me, hints of that honey and a little bit of toast coming in, but all that
creeping is still
floral and limey as it probably started out as a baby.
No, lovely wine. So
and you had, I reckon I was keeping track because I'm writing a blog, and there were about 28 good gags throughout your speech, Michael Smith, and I'm going to quote
the MHS Smith, the quote.
Starting with the authenticity of the pigeon shit on the rafters, which I thought was a great icebreaker. But my favourite was the discussion on residual sugar on the Noble one, and someone quoted 214 grams. Michael's quote was, well, don't feed it to your children. Keep them up for a week. That's fantastic.
That's right. Actually, and we had a question from one of our quaffers, and he wants to ask, of all the emerging varieties in Australia, what do you think it has the potential to become a regional classic?
Well,
Emerging.
Yes, emerging.
Probably for me. I've been excited about Nebbiolo. I've been excited, I think, about Sangiovese, but I think Tempranillo for me, because it's got this ripeness, but this sort of tension of, they're not overripe, they've got this lovely spiciness about them. And, you know, I've seen a few of those wines, you know, like that La Linea from the Adelaide Hills. And yeah, I think Tempranillo for me is the wine that I'm getting the most excited about.
Do you think Australians have embraced food and wine as a oneness of culture enough to really embrace Tempranillo? Because it's a food wine, the tannins, I think it belongs in food, doesn't it?
Well, you know, you've got 5,000 people watching MasterChef.
Yeah.
No, I think people are remarkably sophisticated, and more importantly, they're prepared to give it a go.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think Tempranillo will do well.
I hope so.
And Adelaide Hills and McLaren Vale, or
I think because it's Spanish, people sort of assume that Tempranillo will grow in any warm area. But I actually think you'll find that the best Tempranillos from Spain come from regions where there is a greater diurnal range. So maybe it's not suited to the mega hot regions. Yeah. Maybe it's more temperate.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, this is, I think this is my favourite, well, certainly Shiraz. We tried 4 Shiraz. That was fascinating. And I guess that was the whole exercise, wasn't it? Just to give them an indication that it's diverse. And we're producing different styles, and each of them valid. Like Shiraz from, you just gave me a hint, obviously, from Hunter to Grampians to Eden Valley. And sitting, crouching behind the bar there, sneaking in like naughty schoolboys, tastes of the wines. It was amazing when you do them in that order. You know, you hit like the Edelston from Eden Valley, which off the bat for me is like a bit of a, you know, it's a bit more elegant than what you'd be used to, but you taste it after something like this in the Hunter. It's massive and meaty, but that was fantastic.
I particularly like this Mount Langi from the Grampians in Victoria, and the reason why I really liked it is that, you know, all of these, you know, people are very used to McLaren Vale and Barossa, so they're used to ripe fruit and all that sort of thing, and then suddenly you get this cool climate Shiraz that has this wonderful clear pepper spice note. The palate is unapologetically medium bodied, the tannins are not sort of overripe, the wine has tension. It's just delicious, and, you know,
so
Dan Buckle from Mount Lang, I just think, is doing a fabulous job.
And it's really a chance to show the diversity of Shiraz that we can produce in the country by putting that up.
Yeah, well, that was the most contrasting of wine to the Barossa style, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
It's like a burst of freshness if you're sitting at a table drinking 7 or 8 heavyweight, big, iconic Australian Barossa and McLaren Vale Shirazes, and this sits in there, it's elegant.
And it does have that lovely pepper spice note,
absolutely,
which is lovely. So, no, I think that they enjoyed it. I think they were genuinely excited by what they saw, and you know, they've got a great week ahead of them.
They certainly do.
Lucky people.
I found it just really interesting. We're talking about this was an exercise in demonstrating diversity, and one of the questions at the end was, do you think Australia is going to need to pare back its diversity and focus on less different styles, you know, zone in on the ones they do best? How are we going to do that? I mean, this is.
I think what we want to watch out for is winemakers who are just making more labels and more styles just because, not because they believe in it, not because they think that it does really well in their region, but just because. So I think that the important thing is to work out what each winemaker is excited about and does really well, and you know, maybe that's where the focus should be. I don't think we're saying there should be less diversity. We're just saying people should you know, focus on the, you know, on the high notes and the things that really get them going.
Do you think we're doing that?
Oh, I think you're seeing it. I'm seeing a lot more. I've never heard more than in the last 2 years about exciting regional fine wine. So no, I think we'll see, but that's a particularly good example.
Yeah, all right.
We've had quite a week. Thank you so much for giving us a good time. Have a good flight back.
Good.
Shame you can't stick around.
Yeah,
Always
well,
love catching up with you. Thank you.
Good. Excellent.
All right.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.
And it's live now.
Oh yes, I'm going to turn it up.